How are we doing, everybody? I hope everybody's well. Today I want to continue discussing about the feet and what they should be doing. I did a little video the other day about some exercises that you can be doing with your feet to get them moving a little bit and start to hopefully get you thinking a little bit about what your feet do, what shapes they make, and are they moving in the way that they should be. And I want to discuss with you, first of all, the two shapes that your feet should be making. I want to talk a little bit about some of the problems that we tend to have with our feet if they're not moving efficiently. And then last of all, I want to talk about where we can fit this into our exercise, because we tend to think about when we have problems with our feet, we think about going to see a doctor or some sort of physician that's going to help us with the feet. We don't really think about personal trainers helping us with our foot problems. Now, that being said, I am not a doctor, I'm not trying to be a doctor, and this is definitely not an alternative for medical practice or medical procedures. If you have big problems with your feet or with your knees or with your hips, it's very important that you go see somebody, a medical professional that can help you. This is only to prevent injury before it happens and can work alongside doctor's advice to help to relieve any pain or any problems. But this, like any other part of your body, your feet have muscles in them, and everything can be trained if it's done in the right way to make your feet work more efficiently and make you better when it comes to exercise. So the two movements that your feet should be making are pronation and supination. Pronation is a lengthening of the foot, so making it wide and stretched out. And supination is a shortening of the foot, so contracting those muscles and giving your foot some height as well. And it's important that when we're moving and when we're doing exercise that we're able to do both very, very well. So let's talk about problems when it comes to people who pronate their feet too much. So you might know this as flat feet. So when the foot is extended out and it's stretched out a lot, and we're not getting this supination, this contraction of the foot enough, so we're not getting much of an arch in our feet as we step and as we walk around. All the muscles on the bottom of your feet are always stretched, so they're not contracting in. So imagine like an elastic band that is stretched out all the time. And it's constantly in that position. Now, over time, if you hold it there, then it's all going to start to collapse and start to roll in. And imagine that reaction as it goes up the body, into the legs, into the knees. Those knees are going to start to be dropping in. Think about the hips. Your hips are going to, because of the angle of your knees, you're going to start to make an angle in your hips that's going to become very acute. And that's going to put a lot of stress on the joint. Now, that's if they're both doing the same thing. Imagine if one foot is pronating more than the other. Think about all the different angles now that your body is at. Your hips and your pelvis are going to be at different heights, and there's going to be imbalance in your body, and that's going to transfer up into your spine as well and start to create shapes in your spine that are going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to make your body start to have to work really hard just to keep itself functioning as well as it possibly can. Now, if we start to flip it around and start to think about people who supinate their feet too much, so people who have really high arches, when we're supinating the feet too much, you can imagine that the feet are being contracted a lot. There's a lot of stress under the feet to try and hold them up in that position. They're not kind of extending and relaxing into that pronated position. They're always kind of trying to hold the foot in that kind of high arched position, and that's going to cause a lot of stress and tension in the foot itself. So again, that's going to translate up into the body, trying to hold something really tight. Imagine squeezing your fists all day, all the time, and that's not just going to hurt your hands. It's going to start to put a lot of stress in your forearms, into your upper arms and your biceps and triceps, and probably into your shoulders and neck. And it's no different when it's in your feet. It transfers up into your lower legs, into your quads and your hamstrings, into your glutes. It all has a connection. And so if we're not able to reach those end ranges, so a full pronation into a full supination, then there's always going to be an issue with muscle tension, and that's going to cause stress and problems for our joints and lots of other parts of our body. So how do we start to make these changes, and why would we want to do it? Well, to start with, you can start doing something like the routine that I put together, and that will start to get some feeling and get some movement in the feet. We can also place things like these. These are just wedges that get placed underneath the foot that simulate an exaggeration of these movements, which will help us to find the end ranges, either of pronation or of supination. So something like this is going to be very useful as well, but you obviously need to have somebody who knows where to place them and what to be doing with your legs and with your feet. So if we look at the different areas where we're going to get improvements, it's going to improve your strength, it's going to improve your range of motion, it's going to improve any stability problems that you might be having, and it's going to improve your general performance when it comes to movement. So walking, for example, we walk around all the time, we don't really think about it, but if you're starting to make these little changes with your feet, then walking is going to be much better and your body is going to thank you for it. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it's been useful for you. I know there's been a lot of information, but I hope you've taken something away from it. If you have more questions, I would like you to get in touch with me. You can contact me on Facebook and we can go through how we can fit this into your daily programs and get your feet moving properly again.